sometimes I'm guilty of using words that I have been using since my college days at St. Stephen's in Delhi, but which are not so commonly used today. I mean, for example, I was a bit surprised when my use of the word Farrago of innuendos and lies, which simply means a confused mixture, went viral, and the Oxford English Dictionary tweeted that they had seen a record spike in the number of searches for the meaning of that word. But I had been using it in college debates in the early 1970s. I mean, it was not an uncommon word. In fact, you will find the use of the word in many of my books, and no one has commented upon it before. But there's something about the social media era that I think suddenly blows these things out of proportion. So sometimes I am guilty of deliberately using a word which served my purpose, but which unfortunately has created some confusion. And on a few occasions when I doubt if a word is well known, I will also supply the definition in the tweet. But at other times, and most other times that I use a complicated word, it is very much as a joke. And I do it partly because, of course, people have been parodying the so-called terrorisms and the vocabulary that I have occasionally used. So I play along with the joke by mocking myself, and in the process I always score an additional point behind the use of that word. So when the Chief Minister of Bihar abruptly left our alliance and joined the other side, I tweeted as the word of the day, snollygoster. And I said, definition, a shrewd, unprincipled politician. First used, US 1848. Most recently used, and I gave the date, whatever it was that day, the day that this gentleman had resigned. And so without using his name at all, I was able to score a political point through a funny word, and that was the problem. Similarly, when I was launching my most recent book, The Paradoxical Prime Minister, I thought just announcing that my book was available, I mean, there's so many authors who announce so many books, why would people notice? I needed something to get people to talk about the book through a tweet that people would talk about. So that's when I said what Roji reminded me of, that is, that the paradoxical Prime Minister is more than just a 500-page exercise in floxinosi nihilipinification. Now, I said that, frankly, as a joke. It's a word that, yes, we all knew from our high school days, because in quiz contests, it used to be the answer for what is the longest word in the English language. Strictly speaking, the longest word in the English language is something else, but it's a fake word. It's a word for a disease. It's pneumono-ultramicroscopic siliconovolcaniconiosis, which is actually apparently a fancy way of saying a lung disease that comes from the inhalation of very, very small particles of coal dust or silicon dust. But the same malady is actually simply called silicosis or something like that. So this entire long word is totally unnecessary and relates to maybe one case out of several millions who may be suffering from pneumono-ultramicroscopic forms of these dust particles. So it's a very silly word, whereas floxinosin nihilipinification, though it is only used in a jokey context, actually means something that you would say in the normal course of language, which is that something is worthless. So if you say to me that my using big words is worthless, then you are committing an act of floxinosin nihilipinification.
Thank you, sir. Apart from all jokes, we are looking forward for more words so that we gain more knowledge. Thank you, sir.
Well, I was asked that quite recently at a more political kind of gathering. I said, can you give us a word of the day? And I had to think quickly on my feet because they all wanted the new word. So I said, defenestration. How many of you know the word defenestration? Nobody. It's actually a very respectable English word. It means to throw out of the window. So I said, my party will be seeking the defenestration of Mr. Modi and the BJP government in 2019. That's my message.